This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am here to recap the first press conference of Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. We know a lot of things have taken place before this press conference. They were on Talk Sports, which I just recapped. They did the stadium presentation of Wembley, which they will be fighting at, where Daniel had an altercation with Oleksandr Usyk. And so a couple things have happened. Daniel has promised a bloodbath and this, that, and the other. He's a different man now. He's in a different place now. So this is where we're at now, right? So here we go. I just want to recap the conference itself, some main points, so we can get on with it to look at it together if you guys missed it, because I didn't watch it. I was busy doing work, doing my thing. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Martin McCauley, Oleksandr Usyk, and Danny Dubois. All of these topics that I was working on the video, so I missed the initial conference. But we could watch it together live as I'm live, as we can check out what transpired in this particular first press conference. Okay, so when you guys hear, thank you guys for hitting the like button. Skrilla50, my guy in the building. We're going to take a look at this. We're going to let the chat load a little bit so we can start the conference. I don't know how many of you guys have already watched it, but let me ask. Let's see. All right. Cool. All right. So the poll is up. What's up, Skrilla50? Everything's good, man. It's just his shoulders bother me. I'm gonna have to go and check it out real soon. I don't know. Maybe I slept on it wrong or whatever. Maybe it was an injury that I didn't know that it was that bad. But other than that, I feel good. Mike Adams, I thought Don Charles was a complete idiot, to be honest. They will never let this low blow crap go. It's getting tiresome. Daniel's a man now, bruv. Can't wait for this scrap. CJ Rich in the building. Counterpunch to you. Quan Big Guns. When is the press conference? The press conference ended about 30 minutes ago. Okay? But I'm about to recapture that. As soon as we get enough people up in here, we can relook at it, watch it live, and counterpunch it. So Quan Big Guns. Live is now. It's now. Do you think it was a low blow? I think the ref made a good call, because I think it's debatable enough based on where it landed, based on the type of punch that was thrown. See, it wasn't a hook, it wasn't a jab, it wasn't a straight right. So it wasn't, those punches are going right to the area. An uppercut comes up or from the bottom upwards. So it landed on the belt line, but it started below the belt line because it was an uppercut. So it grazed, so it went upward. But this is Daniel Dubois, okay? This is Daniel now. This is a guy that will knock your head off. He can punch. He got punching power. This is a power puncher. Look at his knockout ratio. You think he can't punch? So everything he lands is going to hurt, especially when it's going south of the border or south of the belt line or south of the navel. See, a lot of people, then they're obviously boxing is that optional, that wild west-ish, simply based off the fact that most people had it. Oh, it's below anything below your belly button. Well, Usyk, his belt was below his belly button. So if you hit south of that, but a lot of people think belt line is belt line. Well, belt line, that should, differentiate what is low and what's not low. But who determines it being low is the referee. That's it. There's not really a big discussion about that. Who determines that is the referee. Now, I'll say this just to stir the bullshit, just to make you think further. Most referees determine what's low based on who it is. There, I said it. How dare I say something like that? I did. I said it. Because a lot of times, a lot of those punches ain't low. A lot of times, those punches are on the belt line. A lot of times, those punches were legal and they were ruled illegal. Now, did that apply to this? No, I don't think so. Because the same ref, if you guys saw my video from yesterday, which one was it? The Don Charles, well, the George Fox, Don Charles' son, come at Usyk. Okay, I had a great breakdown of that. So that showed you like where it landed, how it was, how it landed, and all that. So excited. Well, get the undisputed champ again. No more 20 plus years gap. Yeah, I mean, for me, the wad was, I pretty much knew who was that. I think now it's a continuation to who. It's more of a defense to me. See, if Usyk can beat Danny Dubois, I don't even look at him. Yeah, for bragging rights, double undisputed. Yeah, but at the same time, this is just another opponent that he's already fought that he's beat to me because he's already fought him and beat him. There's nothing that changed. The only thing that changed is what Daniel's done, not what Usyk's done. I want to see more of Usyk. I want to see more of Daniel. I just don't want to see them fight each other because it's counterproductive. Why would I want to see Daniel Dubois fight Oleksandr Usyk when I could see Daniel Dubois fight Joseph Parker? He never fought Parker. Hell, he might have a better chance of against beating Parker than he did Usyk. Truth be told. The redos get old. Bars. You're not fooling anyone. That over the horizon hairline will radiate through any upkeep object. The hell are you talking about? I got a hat on, you cocksucker. Get him out of here. Yeah. Yeah, how about that? But anyway, I hope Triple D puts Usyk to sleep. Now, here's the thing. I think that would be how it's done. You know, Mia Khalifa. No, I don't. I don't know Mia Khalifa. Hey, Kurt. First fight, no low blow. Dubois was robbed. I think he'll get revenge. Okay. David Mick. We'll see. You know? Yeah, man. These cats, man, they come in with crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, you crazy. Usyk wins by KO. I mean, how did Usyk win before? And but was it a KO? Yeah, it was ruled a KO, but it was ruled that Daniel Dubois, you know what he did? He quit. Daniel quit in this fight. He quit in this fight, and he has an opportunity to redeem himself. You ever get a chance to collab with Boxing Wave? Yeah, man, I just hollered at Boxing Wave like this past weekend, but we were both doing live streams on the Eubank versus Ben. So, it is what it is. The hell do you mean, what are your pronouns? Pronouns are pronouns. Not going there. Not going there. Press conference had some funny moments, but I won't spoil it for you. Elite M. Okay. Custard and chips. Non Usyk topic. Looking forward to seeing what weight shape Bacoli comes in at this weekend. In at the weekend. I do too. I absolutely do. I think that I've seen him. I've been following Martin Bacoli through his transformation. I mean, he looks good for what I can see. I just hope it's not the Andy Ruiz Jedi mind trick. Andy Ruiz had everybody wearing that big ass shirt. He hanging over, just showing his arms. Yeah, his arms are in shape, but your arms are you use your arms. You know, your body style dictates your lifestyle, not really your arms. It's the way your body looks. If your body is, unless it's just totally genetic, but if you sit and eat hot dogs, ice cream, Oreos, Twinkies, turtles, Snickers, if you sit there and you eat that shit in excess, you're not going to be walking around with a chiseled body. You're not. You're going to be walking around like he was walking around, trying to trick people. That's what he was doing. Usyk doesn't have the power to KO Usyk. Usyk doesn't have the power to KO Usyk. Triple D quit because he was discouraged because he realized they cheating. I know what you meant, Quan Big Guns. I say this. I don't believe that. I do believe he quit though, but I don't believe doesn't have the power because if Usyk didn't have any power, you don't quit because you're discouraged, bro. If he quit because he was discouraged, he's gonna quit again. I'm just gonna be real with you. If Daniel Dubois quit because he was discouraged, he will quit again because you're gonna get discouraged in the fight. Fights happen in situations where people are fucking with you. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Amir Khan versus Lamont Peterson. If you guys remember that fight was full of controversy. Who was the referee? Harvey Dock. Harvey Dock was the referee. And every chance he got, he docked a point from Amir Khan. Low blows or overholding or everything that he possibly could do, he did. And that was discouraging, but Amir Khan didn't quit, and this dude got a chin like a damn, you know, something light. Right? Bryce Productions. Hi. If Usyk wins, he should fight Wilder. I wouldn't be opposed to whatever he does as long as it's somebody new. I'm just gonna be real. Wilder has to win a fight, though. I mean, you to throw him in a fight with Usyk, you should have the same energy as we did Daniel Dubois. At least Daniel Dubois won his last three. But just having an opportunity with Usyk, the undisputed champ, just because he ain't fought him, what has Wilder done to deserve that? Nothing. So he has to do something to show that he's still in the game. You can't lose two fights back to back and expect to get an undisputed title shot. That's not fair to anybody that was already there. Frank Sanchez, Joseph Parker, I get Caballel, Mark McCauley, even Zili Zhang that knocked out Wilder. That wouldn't be fair to any of them if they gave that opportunity to Wilder. Okay? You can eat anything you want and have a chiseled body. Calories is the only thing that matters. Okay. And he shipped a box of Snickers to Bacali. Straight sabotage. You imagine that? Bacali, I think you're cool. I think you have good combinations. I think we have a lot in common. We can throw punches in bunches, and we have good chins, and we're both from other countries. We're both fat. Here's some Snickers. Here's a token of my appreciation. Let's have some parliamentary parliamentary procedure. What's the biggest animal you could catch if it was dropped from a third floor window? That's very random. I have no idea. Connor Ben got robbed. Okay, B Fatty. Triple D won't quit in the UK Wembley. They won't give Usyk 5 minutes to recover from a KO. All right. So it's all about the venue and about the confidence, and he won't do it in the UK. Okay. A lot of times people talk about the energy and the influence of venues and overall. Yeah, I got it. I got it. Cool. I want Usyk to fight fellow Southpaw Big Bang would be credible challenge. Ed, I don't think so. Zili Zhang versus Oleksandr Usyk at this point, I've saw fights like that. We've saw Joseph Parker and what Joseph Parker can do. Yeah, I know they're both southpaws, but I can tell you this: Zhang, I don't think would last in 8 rounds. He would be stopped. He would be stopped in 8 rounds, and it won't be because he's hurt. It would be because the accumulation of punches, based on his gas tank showing 0.000 E, that's what that would mean. That's what that would mean. Robert Holland, hello. BTM, what's up? Have you faced racism? Can you share your experience? Not on this platform. Bill Keaveney, let's go. Counterpunch to you. There's no one left for Usyk to fight for real. This is a transition period for to the next era. Well, what you can do if that's the case, he should start fighting younger fighters to really test himself. You know what I mean? He says has 2 fights left. This is one of them, and this is a rematch, which sucks. I'm gonna be real. It sucks. It does suck. You know, Jang has no chance versus Usyk. As long as Frank Warren makes sure that refs is not the same ref from the first fight, Triple D will win. Hi, Kurt. Did we really need an Usyk Dubois too? The first fight looked pretty conclusive to me. Danny, the generals. I mean, I think so. I think everybody gets so carried away with the low blow to the point where people overlook what actually happened in the fight. The boy quit. You know, I mean, this is. See, I want Usyk to be challenged, but I also want Daniel to be challenged. Now, am I hating on Daniel? No. People think that I am, but the good thing is I don't get the criticism from Daniel because Daniel don't really have the backing. Like this ain't an AJ, this ain't a Fury, this ain't a Wilder. This isn't like these. When people have big followings, we have big guys that are over criticizing guys that try to protect fighters. You don't have that with Daniel. See, we can have a conversation about Daniel and people not get too over involved, over emotional about, hey, this is what it is and what it is. I don't know who any of those guys are lit. I don't know who they are. What about I get Cabello? Okay. I get Cabello. Yeah, I mean, I get Cabello's a good fighter. But I think that, a lot of people will avoid him. And see, he's now in a position that Dillian White once upon a time was in. And I think because he's in that situation, it's going to be harder for him. It will. It'll be harder for him because the WBC doesn't regulate anything. They are crooks. They are the most loose lead, free, corruptive, under the table working sanctioning body that we have today, the WBC. They just happen to have the prettiest belt, and the belt itself has great history. But where it's at and who it's controlled by right now is controlled by a politician, a businessman, and an absolute crook. I'm just going to be real with you. That's the real reality of the WBC. They had Muhammad Ali. They had Julio Suleiman. That made that belt something. It gave the belt reverence. But now, no, it doesn't give the belt reverence. So what happens at this point, it's like, all right. We're looking at a guy that had the belt that continued a sanctioning body from his passed on father that's doing everything that he possibly can only to make money and not build integrity. That's what you're dealing with the WBC. Saying all that to say this, that means that I get Caballero will not get an opportunity that he thought that he would get because it will be something, someone, somehow will come over. I get Caballero, despite him being the WBC interim, just like Dillian White. History repeats itself over there because they do the same shit. Think about it. They pissed over Dillian White for years. And when he started barking and talking about it and speaking his mind, They tried to threaten him. That's the facts. They tried to threaten this man. Like, you better stop talking the facts, for we never give you an opportunity. That's basically what Mauricio said. So yeah, I think I get Caballero. Yeah, he's the interim champion. So love it up, live it up. Give the 3% to Mauricio Suleiman. Let him pimp you out, because that's all he's doing. He's gonna pimp you. Mauricio's going to pimp you out. You're gonna give him 3%, and he's gonna give you nothing in return. But what he might do, if Tyson Fury comes back, he's gonna find a way for Tyson Fury to fight whoever has the belt. See, he'll come in and give Tyson Fury the opportunity and make some bullshit up. He might make a belt for Tyson to fight Danny Dubois for the belt, not the belt that he has currently. Because that's what pretty much what Mauricio did when he made the franchise title. And he made that damn title because he didn't want the guys that he placed there to be challenged by the guys that actually deserve to be there. That's the difference. The franchise title should be about the best earners and the best fighters. So that we need to see these fights. They do not have to fight for mandatory. All this, it was just trash, bro. Trash. Apart from Daniel, which of the younger ones coming through do you think gives Usyk a great fight? Probably I get Caballero. Yeah, I mean, but look, if Wilder knocks somebody out, and Wilder is somewhere at the WBC, he always will be. Don't be surprised if Mauricio kind of swindles his way. What is that word that Chris Eubank Jr. called Eddie Hearn? Scumbag. Yeah, I mean, let's just be real. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I think it's time for us to start the press conference. Let's retake it. I haven't saw it, so it's all new to me because I wanted to share it with you guys live. Okay, so let's go. Let's get it. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Once I have my enemies, Caballero, but I don't think anyone beating Usyk this year unless he slows down by 35%. Well, again, it's not going to be the WBC because Mauricio is not going to regulate or demand anything from Usyk. As long as he's getting 3%, he doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? That's that. That's that. I'm telling you guys, it's not going to go the way you think it's going to go, and it's surely hell not going to go the way it's supposed to go. That's just Mauricio. Bars. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is what it is. I think that Get Caballero will be the last in queue. He will probably be 34 years of age when he gets to the opportunity, and he would more than likely have to beat someone else to become a sanction, to become ranked in another sanctioning body to get an opportunity. WBO, WBA, IBF. Yeah, he'd have to go that way. And truth be told, that's why I wanted Caballero to fight Danny Dubois before Dubois fought Usyk, because there's no guarantee he's going to beat Usyk. Would it be good for boxing if he did? Kind of, because then you would be giving the old king a passageway out, and then the torch would be passed to the new king, which would be Daniel Dubois, the first British undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis. I know what it means. I know exactly what it means. Would it help boxing? Maybe. You know what I mean? Let's just hope Daniel doesn't turn into a turd. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, let's just hope they don't try to do what they did with Wilder in the U.S., try to keep the damn belt hostage. Yeah, that happens. Or should I say at this point, belts. It's hard to be an undisputed champion, though, and keep that shit up. Because you're going to eventually have to fight people. You're going to eventually have to fight whoever the number one is. Derek Chisora, yeah, they could easily make that fight. Give Derek Chisora his rights to passage. Make him a more of a millionaire. Give him more M's in the bank, but beat the shit out of him because he's way past his prime. He's too old, but he's going to give you everything he has, and people are going to show up for Derek Chisora, especially if Daniel Dubois becomes undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. So yeah, that's a way to do it. But then what about Parker? Right? So look. Then what about Cabello? Right? Because I mean, he has to. Again, we already talked about Cabello. If Daniel wins Parker Chisora, yeah, it will be Parker Chisora, or more than likely, it should be Parker, then Joshua, right? Then Caballero. But it's not because they're going to go for that easy money. Why wouldn't they? Derek, yeah, he'll fight Daniel. Derek will fight anybody. And he'll do it for some M's. He's the number one. He's going to want 3 or 4 million or 5 million, and he's going to fight. And with that amount of money, you damn right, Derek Chisora. At this point of his career, you think he won't go for it? Hell yeah, he's going to go for it. He's going to come in there swinging, and it's going to be a good fight as long as it lasts until Derek gasses out or he gets knocked out quick or gets caught with something. That's it. I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Chisora is mandatory. Breaking Zoo and Fondora 2 on July 19. Same day as Usyk versus Dubois 2. So we will have a full day because I have to see Zoo versus Fondora 2. Because Zoo, that elbow cost Zoo a dive in his career. I mean, a nosedive in his career. A nosedive. Bro, because of that fight, he had to fight Murtataliev. Murtataliev was a silent killer. He was like the middleweight, or should I say the heavy or super welterweight version of I Get Cabello. That's exactly what he was. People didn't know who he was, and nobody else with a name has fought him since. Murtataliev, when the last time you seen him fight? Because, I mean, nobody's going to want to see him fight because nobody's going to want to bring him in there with nobody. They ain't stupid. Throw Jermell Charlo's ass in there with Murtataliev and see what happens. I think that'll be actually a great fight because they both have heavy hands, good chins, things of that nature. All right? Parker fighting Dillian. I don't want to see that shit again either. I don't want to see that again at all. Lee M, he quit because he knew the whole show was rigged against him, so he just acting childish and gave up. He's a grown man now. Okay. Well, I mean, that's nobody's fault but his own, and if he decided to do that, and if that is true, I mean, that's just dumb. You know what I mean? That's just dumb. But whatever. Whatever. Let's go for it.
As you can tell, there are two faces missing. So let's bring them up here. I'd like to first introduce to the stage the reigning and defending IBF World Heavyweight Champion. Please give it up for Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Yes, Triple D was dumb, but he had 3 great wins since then. LeBron says he was a grown man then. I mean, what was he, 25? 26?
Okay, now let's welcome to the stage his opponent on July 19th. WBA Ring Magazine Lineal World Heavyweight Champion. Please give it up for Oleksandr Usyk.
I got Usyk coming out there. Where the hell is he? I don't see him. Oh, there he is, wearing he's got like an orange camouflage-ish, like he's almost going hunting. Like he looks like an assassin, but a different kind. A new wave millennial assassin. Roy Jones versus Dubois. He still saying cameraman was smoking some. Yeah, he probably was, dude. Them camera dudes be getting ripped. I ain't gonna lie. Drink water. He got dropped by a jab and literally watched the ref count to 10 in his face. Come on, man. You have to count Triple D's brain age and dog.
History will be made here at Wembley Stadium. Britain's Daniel Dynamite Dubois, the IBF World Heavyweight Champion, perhaps the biggest puncher in the division today, will take on the Ukrainian genius, the unbeaten unified World Heavyweight Champion, Oleksandr Usyk. But as most of you know, this is a story that runs deep. It'll not be the first time that these two men have met. It was a rainy night in Wrocław, Poland, 2 years ago, August 2023, where Oleksandr Usyk successfully defended his crown against Daniel Dubois, and he emerged that night in front of thousands of his Ukrainian fans. On Ukraine's National Independence Day, he emerged as the victor. It was a stormy night. It was an emotional night, and it was a night that many here will never, ever forget. And whilst Usyk emerged with his unified crown that night intact from that storm, he also emerged under a cloud of controversy. Daniel Dubois landed a punch in the 5th round. Usyk went down, and for a moment, time stood still. The referee that night judged that the punch was low, but many to this day are still debating, as I'm sure they will very shortly, as to whether or not the referee made the right decision. Was it above the line? Was it below the line? Was it on the line? Well, since that night, Oleksandr Usyk went away and became the first undisputed world heavyweight champion of the century. Daniel Dubois, he went away and he became the IBF world heavyweight champion, scoring 3 impressive back-to-back knockout wins. And now, on the quest for history, legacy, and answers, fate has brought these two men back together. And whether you think that punch 2 years ago in round 5 was above the line or below the line, one thing is for sure. On July 19th, under that famous Wembley arch, live around the world on DAZN, absolutely everything is on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Usyk versus Dubois 2. This is undisputed. Let's hear first from Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, back at Wembley, it's another big night at Wembley Stadium for yourself, and something to really look forward to.
This is a massive night at Wembley. It's a historical night for British boxing and British sport. It's the first time ever the undisputed belts have ever been fought for in the UK. 4 of them on the line. It's history-making stuff. And it's an opportunity for Daniel to etch his name in British sporting history. He wins this fight, he's the first Brit to hold the 4 belts. That is a great, great carrot for him to go and get and to hopefully do. This is a fight against a guy who, in Oleksandr, who is probably looks to be as the best heavyweight of his generation. He's certainly the best cruiserweight of his generation, and he won a gold medal in the Olympic Games. He's done everything that's asked of him. He's undefeated. He's a magnificent fighter. Every Brit he's fought, he's got the decision against or stopped them. That's 7 Brits he's beaten already. Daniel's the 8th one he faced. I should say. This is, as I say, history-making stuff. We're going to sell out here. It's going to be a fantastic night. Daniel's on a magnificent run since the loss against, controversial loss, I should say, against Oleksandr, and done everything in style. Beaten 3 world-class fighters, 1 or 2-time world champion here last year. Done it in magnificent style. Showed what he was all about. The one before that beat Hrgovic, undefeated fighter, and a fighter that was much avoided and came through some torrid moments in the early part of the fight. He shipped a few right hands, but showed what he's all about and gritted his teeth. And then Babe Miller, the fight that he had immediately after his loss, was a guy who I felt would test him mentally, and he came through that test and not only came through it, beat him and showed at any moment of the fight he's dangerous in stopping him in the last round. This is history. On the 19th of July, we're going to see history. We're going to see the best fighting the best. The number one against the number two. The two best active heavyweights in the world. They're going to be putting it all on the line, and it's going to be something magnificent.
Frank, you say it'll all be on the line on July 19th. I know you've got a very strong view on what happened the first time that these two men met. What happened that night in August 2023?
What happened? Daniel didn't get the decision. He lost the fight. That's what happened. There was a very controversial moment about a low blow. We went through all this yesterday. As I sit here now, for me, all day long, that was a legal blow. It's not about the belt line, it's where your navel is. And the 4 minutes, he hurt. Remember, it weren't called a low blow as the punch landed. There's no doubt about it that it did hurt Alex. And there's no doubt about it that the referee gave him extra time, even when he wanted to fight on. He wanted to fight on, and the referee gave him extra time. But it's done. It's dusted. It was not Daniel's time. The referee, for me, got it wrong. He can put that right on the 19th. You can't change what's happened. We can bitch about it, moan about it, everything. You look at the record books, it says what it is. At the end of the day, it's all about now the 19th. It's about Daniel going out there, taking his referee and his judges, those two fists, into the ring and doing the business, which he's capable of doing it. He's absolutely shown what he's all about. As I said, in his last 3 fights, he's beaten world-class fighters and beaten them well, beaten them in sensational style. He's never in a boring fight, ever. And this is his moment. This is his moment in time to create history.
Well, let's bring in Alex Krasik.
Okay, let me stop right there for a minute, people. I mean, I have to counterpunch something, and I have to introduce what people are not mentioning in this whole fight. The elephant in the room. The elephant in the room, first of all, is the referee. They mentioned the ref, but they didn't mention the significance of the ref. Everybody talks about what they feel and how it was and was it a good call. I mean, well, if that's the case, they should be knocking down the door of Luis Papon. Okay? Luis Papon was a guy, that was the referee in that fight, and he was the referee in another Usyk fight when he fought Joshua the second time. In Papon, it was a situation where Joshua was going to the body more because he was trained by Robert Garcia. And Robert Garcia, one of his implementations was Joshua going more to the body. And as he was going to the body, he landed a shot that was similar to where Joshua landed. The only difference was in that fight, the trunks were different. He had like a wider belt line, so it was kind of hard to decipher what was what. Whereas in the Daniel Dubois fight, Usyk had more of a regulatory size belt line. Not those long belt lines that come up like an elastic strap, because those were the ones he had in the Joshua fight, which were damn near this big, which was a lot of, you know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to decipher when that. But Joshua did come down there and he did land on that in that area. Whereas Daniel Dubois landed, but the referee did call it a knockdown. He did call it a foul. You know what I mean? Because he did this number here, foul. You should be aware with the gestures of referees if you don't know what the hell he did after Usyk went down. But no one brings that up. And another thing, this is what gets me. Frank Warren says, hey, he lost the decision. No, he didn't, Frank. He quit. See, if Frank was unbiased, which, he's the promoter, so of course he's going to be biased. But if he was fair, let's just say that. Let's use that term. If he was fair about how that fight went, he said, listen, the fights in the past, I do think Daniel Dubois landed a legal shot. You would think that. But I also think Daniel Dubois, could have landed that shot again if he not quit. If he not forfeited his opportunity by going down for a fucking jab, or in round 8 going down by a punch that didn't even hit you because you didn't want to get hit no more. I seen that fight yesterday, and I watched it again and again and again. I rewinded it back 5 times, and each time I looked at it, he caught him with a right. He caught him with a right up. He caught him with a right hook. He caught him with a left uppercut, and then when he came to throw another left uppercut, Danny Dubois had already shit. He was already throwing himself to the canvas. He was bobbing and dipping to avoid getting hit. No favors for Usyk in Wembley. What that means is it might be something on the take. You know who Oleksandr Usyk is now? Oleksandr Usyk now is Vasily Lomachenko. Think about it. If Usyk keeps fighting, if he loses a decision, but he's still good enough to compete with these guys, do you think he's really going to win decisions? He's going to be just like his teammate. He's going to be just like Vasil Lomachenko. You know how that shit went? The Devin Haney fight fucking sucked. You know, Teofimo beat him, but did Teo really beat him? He look, Lomachenko didn't fight like he's supposed to, and he waited too long to download the data or whatever they used to say over there at HBO. But Teo beat him. After that, the Orlando Salido fight I think was bullshit. But what normally happens is these fighters get old. The only difference is nobody has beat Usyk. The moment someone beats Usyk, Usyk's credibility will go down south. Trust me, it's going to happen because this is a sport that I love, that I hate so much, and it happens this way for a reason. It's the same reason that Devin Haney won a decision over Vasil Lomachenko, even though he was out-hustled, even though he was outlanded. It happens. I claim, you guys remember, I was in another country hosting that fight, and I told my brother, I said, listen, this fight is going to be a Devin Haney decision. And he was like, what? Nah. I'm like, okay. But what happened? Yeah, he's back still undefeated. It's crazy. Quad life. Counterpunch to you, brother. Jackman. Winter Soliday. Huh. Okay. Why Team Dubois don't talk about referee when Dubois had headbutts Hergovic multiple times? Well, I mean, that's nothing to talk about. That's not the topic of conversation. That wasn't the reason. Well, it was actually one of the reasons where the fight was stopped. But, I mean, you can't. That's Daniel complaining about his punch. He's not complaining about why he quit now, did he? No. He ain't going to complain about that. You know what I mean? But what it is the fact of not taking accountability for the things that you've done. You're talking about, what the ref did or what he didn't do, but what did you do to stay in the fight? You didn't. You quit. You cannot say anything else about that, because I'm like, you can't. It's almost to me. This is what I do. I'm a Libra. I'm about balance. I'm a balanced person. That's why I try to feel both sides, not just one-sided, mindset. No, you got to look at both sides. And one thing I notice about any of these things, they have both sides. Like the Wilder Joshua thing. Well, Joshua turned down $50 million. You remember that old worn out ass topic? Well, Wilder turned down 100. So that's how you look at it. So if you can only talk about the 50 million, just like people only talk about the low blow, or the legal blow, but don't talk about Daniel Dubois actually quitting, or don't talk about Deontay Wilder actually turning down all that fucking money from DAZN, and now everybody's fighting on DAZN anyway, you can't say anything to me because you're not looking at it fairly. Let's continue.
From Team Usyk. Now, Alex, I'm sure you normally have a bit of a speech in front of you. Give us your reflections on the first time these two men met and your thoughts heading into this fight, please.
Dev, you hear me?
I hear you.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be back to London with the best ever boxing audience you can find in the world. So, as they say, wisdom is the fruit of experience. This can be very much related to boxing. And you know what? Daniel Dubois had his priceless experience in the first fight with Oleksandr Usyk. And now, he's not a kid anymore. Now, he is a mature man with the IBF belt on his waist. And the one who underestimates him does terribly wrong. What can I say? But here we have a prodigy man sitting next to me. And he has completed next to me. You're a prodigy man who has completed it all. And you know what? He's still hungry and ready to expose his version of wisdom on July 19th here at Wembley. Fighting, by the way, for something historical that never been before. He says, formerly he was thinking that he will be playing at Wembley, but now it comes that he's going to be fighting at Wembley. And one more important thing to know. This time you will see the version of Usyk that you have never seen before. No more controversies, no more question marks. Let the victory go to the one who deserves it more. God bless. Thank you very much.
Alex, I'm not going to let you go like that. We have a few things to discuss. After that first fight, and I know you've been talking about it, but we're going to talk about it some more. After the first fight, you said that you felt Daniel Dubois had a dirty plan that night, and that he landed several low blows. Do you still believe that today, or was it heat of the moment?
Yeah, we made the calculation. We watched the fight and counted the low blows that he landed, but referee did not pay attention to, and it was up to 20. For that reason, you made a conclusion that that was kind of a plan to play, let's say, dirty, maybe not dirty. Ooh. Haters say it's Photoshop. But it's not. That's a real one.
So there are several photos here of various punches from the first fight. I think there is one in front of Oleksandr Usyk he is looking at. He is asking for a pen and a marker. A member of his team is looking to give that to him. Frank, I think you've got a photo as well. Frank's going to sign it for him.
Fine.
Why? Because it's for me like at my home. Okay, no problem like this. Maybe this. You good look there. Good joke.
No, it's no joke.
Maybe I thought it's for you.
So to confirm, there are several different images here of Daniel Dubois punching Oleksandr Usyk, which I guess Usyk team are presenting as low shots. Usyk has signed. Daniel Dubois is now signing paper here.
It was a body shot, but illegal body shot.
They're nothing to do with the actual.
Frank, I think you've got a photo in front of you as well.
From.
Show me this.
They need a projector.
That's not low. That's why they
You know, friend, back I stayed like this. Oh my God, I love you, bro.
But let's, like I say, that's all history. That's in the past, and we're going to put that right. It's going to be put right. Daniel at Wembley, he's going to make your legs go all trembly.
Bars.
I think it's a good time to bring in Don Charles, actually.
Frank
Don,
coming in
you've
with
just
the bars.
witnessed a variety of photos presented. What are your thoughts?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming. Right, Usyk me personally as a boxing coach, I have a lot of respect for you as a fighter. What you've achieved is remarkable. Yeah, so, but it disappoints me that you can actually stoop as low as bringing those types of photographs I'm looking at. Why don't you print one of those prints as the actual shot that had you trembling? The acting you did that night, you've heard of the Oscars, right? The Emmys. You should be given an Oscar for the performance. You conned the referee, you conned us, you conned the boxing world. I've always maintained that, and I still maintain it. You pride yourself as a God-fearing man. Thou shalt not lie in the name of God. So I want to question, what kind of God do you worship?
Ooh.
Period.
Ooh.
You can look at me as much as you want. In fact, I'll give you a photograph of mine. You can take it home and study it.
Ooh.
You're very mentally strong, but you've met somebody who's stronger than you.
I believe for Jesus.
Jealous of what?
I believe.
Of what? Tell me what.
For Jesus.
Jealous of what?
Yeah.
Saying
You.
Jesus.
Explain yourself.
Saying Jesus.
Explain yourself.
Jesus.
Jesus. I'm
Isa.
jealous of Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen.
Do you know the word?
You're right.
The God
You're
that
right.
I worship. The way it works is that the God has summoned you to come back here for our son here, Daniel Dubois, to get revenge on you. That's why you're here.
Okay. You're right. I deserve Oscar. It's you.
Yes, you do.
You are.
Oscar is coming next.
You all right? Listen. You must teach your fighter punch clean, but I win this fight for right my hand like a jab. Bam. Enough.
You're very comical as well. You're a comedian. When you finish boxing, you've achieved greatness, in my opinion. You go down as one of the generational greats. Granted, nobody's denying that, but thou shall not cheat.
Oleksandr, it's a good time to talk to you. That is, I've never come out of an Oleksandr Usyk fight where people have said he cheated, he faked it, he acted. What are you thinking when you hear things like this from the opposite team?
I don't think about these people. I don't think about these people because it's just talking. Listen, I long time go to my God. Boxing gets pieces my life. A lot of people say, hey, listen, you not take belt heavyweight, you not take belt 4-belt cruiserweight. You know what I say? We'll see. We'll see. For me, it doesn't matter. It's my road. Just my road. Blah, 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 blah. It's just a lot of people. Yeah. Left seat.
Oleksandr, yesterday, Don Charles's son, George Fox, actually had a conversation with you. And you said, we can go to London, we can have a street fight, 4 versus 4. What was that about? Also, when you were asked about media, about the shot, you said again, I'm ready to rematch Dubois now, let's do it street fight. Why is this? Has it bothered you?
Listen, I'm ready right now. Not after tomorrow, right now, today.
Ooh.
But I don't have to my team. It's a Lord and Archie. But this have my team, me, March, Sergey.
Aegis.
Yeah.
Aegis ready.
Yeah. Aegis ready right now.
He's a gangster.
Listen, son, I don't know what this.
George Fox is the man you were speaking to yesterday.
George say, you bad guy, blah blah blah. It's a punch was legal, blah 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 blah. I say, hey, listen, how many professional fighters you have? This man, I don't have professional fighters. I do. No, how many? 5.
You have his brother. You have his
Bro, listen.
cheeseburger in McDonald's in Big Mac menu. What you have? Okay.
Just it's only talk.
Maybe
Yeah,
one.
we'll see,
one
bro.
big
Okay.
cola.
Yeah, of course.
I said to you from the beginning, I've never cheated boxing. When they removed from the camp, the first thing I said to you, I gave you your experience, said, wait, I gave you your
It was in the past, bro.
The first thing I said,
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah.
Listen, I do respect for you for this team. I respect all my opponents. All my opponents who live UK, who live anybody, any world.
I claimed to you and I respected you. I said to you, your achievements in boxing, I doubted you. I didn't think you would beat Fury, I didn't think you'd beat AJ, and you did. And I said, you're an incredible fighter. But you achieved in boxing. Guess what? My dreams when I was younger, I wish I could achieve what you achieved in boxing.
George, can I just pause you for one moment? I need to relay what you are saying. So you're prefacing this by saying you have a lot of respect for Oleksandr Usyk.
Why did you open that can with the worms? Why did you open
this is
that
what I
can
do.
with the
I
worms?
open
Are
these
we here
worms.
at the press conference or we're here at some kind of like a bullshitting?
We're here for a bit of everything. George, what was you saying?
You asked the question, so I kept making you respect.
No.
Me, I didn't say, I asked the question. He's the person that started making it about street fighting. So clearly, I must have hit a nerve.
Okay, thank you.
Always fast.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. George, so basically what George Fox has said is that he feels like he has hit a nerve with Oleksandr Usyk by questioning the low blow or the body shot. Let's bring in, at this point, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, who has been sit here quietly so far. Daniel, I've seen you clench
Yeah, I
your
haven't heard him
fist
say
actually
anything.
a few times whilst all of this is going on. You said you were cheated that night in Poland. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, but it's in the past now. It's happened, you know. I get a chance to put that wrong right and clear up the controversy, you know. There's a lot of shit being talked about right now, but I can't wait to put him to sleep on the night.
Ooh. Ooh.
How different is this Daniel Dubois now to the one from 2 years ago?
I think I'm on fire now. I'm on fire and I'm just pent up and ready to go. It's gonna be a bloodbath. I wanna just put all the controversy and all of that nonsense to rest and show that I'm a man of the future.
I remember the first time you faced off with Oleksandr Usyk 2 years ago, press conference in London, and he started rapping, started moving around. Yesterday, you pushed him and you called him a pussy. What was that about?
I don't know about all of that. I just know that on the ring, on the night, he'll be doing a funny dance in the ring when I hit him.
You believe you're not?
Okay, all right, let me stop right there. You guys did hear that. I posted the video. Yeah, he pushed him. He didn't, it was more like a kind of a push. It was a push. And he called him a pussy. Gave him a push, called him a pussy. Yeah. He's like, I don't know about all that. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, you know what do you mean you don't know about all that? You're like, yes, I did. And then I did that to show him I'm stronger, I'm better, I'm more focused, and I'm going to put his ass to sleep. That's how you do it, bro. Listen, that is why. Yeah, Uncle Frank told me to. Yeah, pretty much, LeBron. Pretty much. But this is exactly why people don't like or don't really rock with Daniel like that. Yeah, if he knocks out Usyk, yeah, he's going to knock out Usyk. They're going to knock out Usyk and, a 38-year-old man. When he knocks out Usyk, if he does, people will rock with him. But it won't be because of his personality. Because it's shit like that, like he's not quick enough. I don't know about that. What do you mean you don't know about that? You said that, bro. It just was yesterday. You called him a pussy. Well, I don't know about all that. I don't know about that. Like, yeah, you should. You the one that said it. And it gets me, it's almost like a person, if you easily forget what you say, how credible can you ever be reference-wise? Like, stuff like that bothers me. I just, in just normal life. Bro is an empty vessel. I don't think he's completely empty. I just don't think he has what it takes to actually be that dude that was like those guys that we grew back in love with in the sport of boxing in the heavyweight realm. Tyson Fury talked a lot of shit, but Tyson Fury was on point. AJ pretty much was kind of calm, cool, and collective at times, but he knew what to say at certain times with certain parables and shit. Wilder was in your face to this day. You know what I mean? Gave you something to look forward to. Gave you, if you were a mad black man, he gave you that identity. Those type of things made the heavyweight division the heavyweight division. This shit here, I'll call him a pussy dude. You don't remember calling this dude a pussy? If I call somebody a pussy yesterday, you think I'm gonna forget about it? That's what gets me. Now everything else, he said was cool. You know, I'm gonna put him to sleep. He kind of looked at him. He watched Usyk. Usyk didn't even look at him because Usyk was just looking at the crowd, but he was watching his ass like a fierce gaze. That was cool. But I don't know it. I don't know it. That, come on, bro. Come on. Triple D don't need the polished personality. I guess he don't. He just needs his rights and lefts and let them do the talking. I guess he does. You said Usyk was scared. Ooh, was he now? Let's continue. Let's go.
Knock out Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah.
You already did.
Let's keep the conversation flowing here. Let's bring in Aegis Klimas from Team Usyk. Aegis?
That was a good counterpunch. He was like, yeah, you think you're going to beat it? Hey, well, you already did apparently to everybody else. You've already stopped him. You need to sell the fight. Yeah, you know, like if you look at it in terms of selling it, yeah. You know, that's exactly what Usyk was doing. You know, I'm glad that he has the opportunity to come back and do what he needed to do. You know, he's done and had some great fights. You know, I get it. I get it. I get the overall appeal to it. You know, Daniel has another shot at the title. You know, he gets to redeem himself. You know, and he gets to show people that if he's changed or not. I think that's the main point. Has he changed? Has Daniel took it to the next level from the level that he was on when he was unsuccessful last time and did the shit that he did last time? Kurt, Daniel Dubois was robbed in the Usyk fight one. Okay. See, this is what sells the fight. This is exactly Quan Big Guns, Jack's man. You know, like guys like that. Drink water. These are things, or these are guys, and this is the resistance of the effective opinion that people think Dan Dubois caught his ass with a perfectly legal shot with no controversy, and Usyk couldn't take it. Had he been counted, he would have been counted out 13 times over because he was down near there 5 minutes or 4 minutes. That's the resistance. That's the narrative. I'm so fast I turned off the light and I went to bed before it was dark. That's that Muhammad Ali remedy. Bars. This time, no, not body shot. He got cracked. His head, Tony. It happened 3 years ago. Did it? It's actually only 2 years ago, not 3. This didn't happen in 22. This happened in 23. When Usyk and Triple D fight, we will find out who was the best man in that fight. Okay, let's continue.
I'm sure you are very much looking forward to this. What are your reflections on fight one? What are you thinking about fight two?
Hello, everybody. Low blow, no blow, sleepless nights for a lot of people. Look, Oleksandr showed what he's capable to do. I guarantee you, if he would see referee start counting, he would be on his feet. Don't call my man a cheater, because he didn't cheat. He had opportunity to rest, and he rested. I'm sure you had a hit in the balls before and probably know that feeling. But he was hit in the balls, he went down, referee didn't count it. Referee gave him a time. If you wanted to say something, you got to tell to referee, not to my man. Anyway, looking forward for July 19th and to hear that Sweet Caroline again. Thank you.
Yo, that was definitely a mic drop. That's exactly what I just told people. You know, I mean, Bill, that's crazy. I mean, that's exactly what they should do. Like, if they were that, they're trying to attack Usyk for being a cheat, which is stupid. It is dumb. You're mad at a guy that was told by the referee to stay there, to wait. And you're mad at the fighter? Why ain't you mad at the ref? You have to display and project who you mad at. Not, we're mad at Usyk because he's a cheater. He's a cheater. You are supposed to be a man of God. Let me tell you guys something. That was a low blow, though. Talk about that man's faith over something somebody allowed him to do, and you're mad at him, and then you question his faith because of something that someone told him to do in the ring, the third man in the ring. It's only 3 people in the ring. It ain't the trainers in there. It's the two fighters and the referee. And the referee told him, based on his ruling, hey, you lay there. And he took his time. He did like Igor Klimas said it probably better than anybody else. He had an opportunity, so he took it. That's it. He had an opportunity, so he took it. Then you're blaming the fighter. You should blame the ref. And if you felt that way, that means if you feel that he cheated to that magnitude or whatever, or the ref made a wrong call, that means you should have went above the referee's head. A free timeout, definitely. I mean, pretty much that's what it was, due to a foul. Due to a foul that was filed by the ref. The ref called that. He called it. That's what it was. You can't get mad at Team Usyk, which I see and look at this shit is so backwards. It's sickening. Because you got Don Charles, you got his son out there, George Fox, right? They're talking all this silly shit about, what Usyk was doing. Usyk was chilling. Usyk was laying his ass on the ropes, taking a breather. Then he got up, walked around, and then he was ready to fight. But what happened when he came back? See, what people don't understand about or realize about the timeout, it was also Daniel Dubois' opportunity to rest as well. He was only down 2 or 3 minutes. He was down 3 minutes and 46 seconds, so damn near 4 minutes. Kurt, what is your prediction in the rematch? It's in July. I'll give you the prediction. I mean, I'll give you the prediction. If it wasn't a foul, then they didn't Triple D go for the finish. He knew Usyk was hurt. I think Usyk was hurt. I think he was very hurt. They're just mad the ruling wasn't ruled in the favor of where the punch landed or in favor of their fighter. Because they knew the longer they took, the less the momentum was for Daniel. But here's the thing. Daniel could have threw the same punch or could have threw a punch like that. He just never got that opportunity again. And look, I'll tell you this. I was going to save this for the prediction. But I'm going to tell you guys that are here that's willing to listen. You think Daniel won't go for that same punch again? That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go for that jab and that right uppercut to the body. And hope they rule in his favor if the same type of interaction happens, which I don't think will, because now Usyk is going to anticipate those type of punches. He's going to look for Daniel Dubois to go low. He's going to look for those shots now. You see all those little pictures they had and of him went low. He did go, Daniel Dubois did go low before the fifth and after the fifth. These are facts. We've saw it together. But no, blame the ref, man. Don't blame the fighter, blame the ref.
Let me just bring Don Charles back in, because I saw you just shaking your head the entire time, Don. If the referee had started counting that night, what do you think? Do you think Usyk would have got up, or what?
Again, it's my opinion. From what I witnessed, I was 2 meters away from the incident. Right? Not because he's my fighter, Daniel Dubois, that it was against us. There's no way in the world. The man I saw, his central nervous system was shut down. Hence why he was trembling. He didn't even, at no point, grab the area that's supposed to have been hit. Okay? At no point did he make it automatically, that's every man here, if you've been hit by a tennis ball, whatever, automatic reaction is to reach for your groin to protect it, but he did no such thing. His hands were permanently just bit by his stomach area, trembling. Okay, there's no way he would have made the count. If I can go back to what Ignis just alluded to, every time Daniel attempted to hit his body, he stopped and pointed to his body. He basically conditioned the referee prior to the actual punch that landed in the fifth round. He conditioned the referee. Referee is only a human being. He panicked. Remember, Oleksandr Usyk is this great fighter that when you get to a certain level in sports, any sports, you get some kind of favoritism and protection. The referee panicked, in my opinion, with his decision. He's only a human being. Okay, he had already been conditioned prior to the actual punch in question. That's my opinion.
You said one very, very right thing here, all of this conversation. This is your opinion.
Correct.
Right,
I'm entitled to it. And we're living in the days of where everything is recorded and high definition. There is not the days where the picture's a bit fuzzy. So everything I'm saying here, I challenge you or a panel, not today, we don't have time, to go and examine it. We've never really done. Call a panel on this so we can once and for all put it. In fact, you don't need no panel, because on the 19th of July, we will show you forensically, as a coach, dissected and investigated you. You will be found that on the 19th, you're going to get knocked out by my guy.
That's what we want to hear.
Looking forward for July 19th.
We don't care about no body shots. We're going to knock him out on the 19th.
Nice plan.
Well, they're talking about July 19th. Let's bring in Michael Ridout from DAZN. And Michael, what a time to come in here. What a stadium fight. So many great stadium fights. You know, Wembley stadium fights over the years. Froch Groves, Fury, of course, Daniel Dubois himself. Big night for DAZN to be involved in.
Big night, great night. Thanks, Devon. Thanks, everybody, for coming today. I just want to briefly look back on Saturday night, another stadium fight, an incredible battle that will no doubt be a Fight of the Year contender, and it highlights the strength of stadium shows in this country. And July 19th will be no different, and from what we've heard the last 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement there. This is another tentpole event on a packed DAZN schedule. We've got a blockbuster weekend coming. We're in New York on Friday night. Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney all competing. And then Saturday night, we're back in the fight capital of the world in Riyadh for Canelo's return. But back to this one. If you're not lucky enough to get a ticket, make sure you're watching. It's only available live, worldwide, on DAZN, your global home of boxing.
Thank you, Michael. Serge Lapin on Team Usyk has been sat there fairly quietly so far. Serge, if I've got your attention, let's get your thoughts, not so much on the first fight, but why you believe your man, Oleksandr Usyk, will once again become undisputed world heavyweight champion on July 19th. Give us your thoughts.
Hi everyone. Вітаю всіх. Зараз багато розмов про заборонений удар в першому бою. Давайте вспомним Дозвольте нагадати про перший бій, що наш хлопець виграв їхнього хлопця всього лиш джебом. Джеб. Це просто джеб. Jab and knockout. You know, this boxing and jab. And I have have special rules for you. And for your team, maybe I have special analytic. We have
They're boring fuckers over there, so no one wants that.
we have department
Boring
analytic.
fuckers. Don't listen to these
Guys, and special for
Just
you.
shut them up.
And we see you in July in Wembley. It's nice. Wow. And maybe this guy is McDonald's work. Yes. Maybe you give big double cheeseburger and Big Mac. For me, Big Mac. For my team, double cheeseburger. Okay.
Hi everybody, thank you so much. We go to training camp. See you later.
Well, Alexander, just before you go, let me just get a final word from Frank Warren here. Big stadium fight, and then we'll get the face-off.
Well, thanks everybody for coming along. Sorry we started late, but I would like to say also thank you to DAZN. Brilliant partnership, brilliant fights, and this is going to be something special. I want to thank Riyadh Season. I want to thank our fellow promoters ready to fight, and we are ready to fight. 19th of July, you're going to see something special. History.
Okay, let's get a face-off. Thank you, Frank.
Okay, so they're doing a face-off. All right, let's see if anything will happen remotely entertaining or physical. Yeah, let me go ahead and mute that there. Well, my thing is, they should have emphasized, if I'm Team Usyk, like I think Lapine did mention like the jab and stuff like that, and he was like, well, you know what? You went down from a jab. I mean, that's what I'm like, dude, you went down from a jab. What are you talking about? What are you trying to defend? Yeah, I went down from a heavy right uppercut that may or may not been low, but motherfucker, you went down from a jab and didn't get up and waited to get counted. Here we go.
Competitive fight on paper than that was, and I think Dubois will do himself proud. But he's up against it. He's going to have to put the pressure on Oleksandr Usyk very, very early in the fight and try and maintain it. But what he's shown against Hrgovic especially is that he can fight the pace from round one to the end of the fight, whatever that may be.
Carl? Yeah, I mean, Daniel seems really confident, and I think he's every right to be confident, although the end, Usyk was making the point, and his team were making the point that you get hit with a jab at the end and you stayed on your knee. But there has been a change in Daniel. We can see it with our own eyes. He's a different fighter. The mentality seems to be different as well, and he seems very confident, but does have a better chance to win this fight. He's a better fighter got into this one than he was in the first one. But this guy Usyk, he works people out. He figures you out. I don't even think he goes into a fight with a game plan. I think he literally has a look in the first round and then figures out as he's going along what he's going to do.
And that's his genius, isn't it? The fact that the game plans will always be fluid, but I think he just goes there.
Usyk's here. He's constantly looking at him. He's like, dude, I ain't going nowhere. Oh, he broke. Look, he broke. Daniel broke, and he didn't want to look any longer. He didn't want to look at those crazy ass eyes any longer than he had to.
Look, he had to do all this rigmarole 2 times over with Fury, someone getting in his face, bouncing around.
No, pretty decent press conference. Don Charles, he dropped the ball. Igas Klimas dropped the ball. Danny Dubois, silent assassin. Oleksandr Usyk, I think he was a bit frustrated, just a bit, not a lot, but a bit, because he wanted to just cut it off. He didn't want to spend any more time talking about the same thing. So, that means it can mean nothing or it can mean everything at the same time. So July 19th, you guys have made enough claim and brought up a big enough case to make this particular fight worthy of being watched again. I am happy for Daniel that fought his way back to the opportunity to fight for the undisputed heavyweight championship. So he's where Tyson Fury was yesterday, and with an opportunity, or last year, with the opportunity to fight for all the belts. So it's a good thing for Daniel. I wish him all the best. I hope there is no BS. I hope there is a solid knockout, knockdown, or whatever that does occur without controversy. But you guys, thank you for coming on live. I got a lot more videos to do today, but I had to go live with you guys to reach out to you on this hump day. Be blessed, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.